welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel that talks about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me, as always, is Jox the Potato, Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking? Merging two of my loves: classic sitcoms and Survivor.
There you go. And also with us is the man with the thoughts, the man with the puns, the one, the only, Martin Vicencio. Martin, how are you doing?
Doing fine here. Wasn't digging for Easter eggs, nor was I digging something in the poop tree.
Okay, at least they filled
That's
that
right.
back up. All right.
Yeah.
For tonight, we are going to talk about episode 5 of Survivor Season 46 entitled Tiki Man. But before we begin, of course, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our blogs whenever we talk Survivor, you can go to wherever you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. And so, without further ado, let's begin. All right, highest of highs, guys.
You know, I get the feeling that we have very different takes on this episode because I really like this episode. I really like this episode.
Okay.
And like the highest of the high is that it feels like Survivor again.
Yeah.
You know, like
I think that you're probably right, but it's just that I don't dislike the episode. I don't dislike the episode. It's just that not a lot of things actually happen for me.
Yeah.
In the
Oh
episode.
yeah. I mean, but like the highest of the high for me is that it actually felt like a Survivor episode after the first like 4 episodes of
The
the Banu show, right?
Mhm.
Like here we finally get to see we finally get to see Green Tribe and Orange Tribe
Mhm.
do a little bit more, you know. So I suppose that's the highest of the high for me. It's an episode that feels like Survivor. I was
Yeah.
chatting with I was on a Zoom call with my little brother earlier because Easter, and I was like, so are you one of those people that was disappointed that Banu was voted out? And he looked at me like I was some sort of idiot, and he was like, "Of course not." Or like, yeah, were you disappointed that Banu was voted out? It's like, of course not. He was getting really annoying. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
it was. Yeah.
and and yeah, it was. We kind of agreed that it was like we're finally getting to see people play Survivor,
Mhm. Yeah,
and
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because we no longer are inundated with a lot of screen time for Jeff's favorite pastime of all time.
really,
Supposedly.
like
Wow.
No,
of
I
all
don't know if
Really
time,
it's
now.
yeah,
or
he's like one of he will defend Banu's casting and the treatment of Banu
yeah,
Tuesday. Yeah.
yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. But yeah, but it's, I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Since we don't have that anymore, uh, we do see some of the things that are done in the two tribes in Nami and Siga, and it's you're right. You're right. It's starting to feel like Survivor. I guess it's also because we are getting more balanced storytelling for all three tribes.
Mm. Whoops.
What about you? What about you, Marks? What's your highest of high?
Oh, well, Yanu finally won immunity.
Mm.
I really said it. Like, I really think these three are very capable of winning a challenge. And they
Mm.
did. And it took one like slow motion shot, thanks editors, to get that win.
Mm-hmm.
Now if they lost and they did the slow motion, we know that Jeff hated the fact that Banu's out. But they still did it anyway. No, but at least this slow-mo didn't miss. So
Mm-hmm.
good job on the Purple Tribe for getting that win. No, not getting decimated the first 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
At least they can put
Yeah.
on their belt that they didn't lose, and they're not the one who's gonna break the record for modern day survivor or the new era survivor. Apparently, that's a
Mhm.
record. Apparently, they're just tied. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good on
Yeah.
them. Good on them.
Wouldn't it be pentimated, not decimated, because it's like episode 5?
Oh right, yeah. This is so
Sorry.
F5 penta. Penta.
Like five of the,
Yeah.
10 this anyway. Uh,
Anyway, yeah,
but
good,
yeah, yeah.
good for Yanu, good for
Yeah.
Yanu finally getting the win.
They get a
And
win.
again, I'll defer to you, Martin, as our Survivor historian on this in this trio. Apparently, that the slow mo mirrored a slow mo of another season, and for that previous season, they missed the
They
target.
lost. Yeah. That was the famous Lord, I mean Jeff, episode of Russell Swan.
What
I
happened
think
there?
survive.
What was the context of the sequence?
They
What
lost,
was
and that
the
was the episode that Russell Swan got voted out in Survivor Philippines. The slow mo was them missing, and then they continued the slow mo with the Yellow Tribe winning. I think that was Tandang winning instead of, oh my god, what's their name again?
Russell Swan was purple, right? He was
Yeah, the
also
Purple
purple.
Tribe. Yeah, also Purple Tribe. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I read that somewhere. That
yeah,
it
I think
was
Mike
sort of like
Bloom tweeted that. Yeah, I think
mm,
I remember.
yeah,
But
that it was like a juxtaposition, a juxtaposition,
Oh man,
both of
I'm
us are
gonna
juxtapositions.
I'm gonna be using that word a lot tonight. Juxtaposition, because there are a lot
juxtaposition.
of
Yeah.
really good juxtapositions in this
Mhm.
particular episode.
Well,
Um,
that
uh,
is why you're the juxtapotato. Uh,
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, good on Yanu, and it was a come from behind win as well, right?
yeah,
It was really cool to finally see them and to finally see Q win something. This
yeah.
feeling, this feeling that we haven't felt before.
Is this what it feels like to win? Damn, because you know, I don't know if I don't know if this was intentional on the part of like Survivor production, the editors and stuff, but I get like this vibe that this was the first thing that he's ever won, right? Because if you look at like the tribe, right? They've pretty
Yeah.
much lost every like challenge that they had, and even if they won that one reward challenge, they
Mm.
still kind of lost because they couldn't get the actual prize, you know. Um,
Mhm.
they gave us his story about him fumbling that high school football game, and what we're told about him as a real estate agent is that he's good, but he was the second best in the country.
Oh wow, the second best.
Right? He was, I mean, like, what was it? What was it that he said? I was like the number two real estate agent or
Mm.
something in the whole country, so I'm pretty good at this. But like, I don't think there has ever been a mention on the show of Q getting a first place on anything or
Mhm.
really winning anything, which is kind of sad because like they still won second, even though like they wanted to make it feel like they won first.
Yeah.
But because, because what's it still Nami still got like
Well, yeah.
first, obviously. But like, that
They're
was
just full on dominating these challenges.
Yeah.
yeah, it feels like, that they made it feel like this was the first thing that Q had ever won. I don't know if that was intentional on their part, but good on them because it made me feel things that
Mm.
particular shot with the slow mo and like the reaction. It helped that Kenzie is my canonical winner pick, but yeah, that little sequence there like made me feel things, um, and it sort of ties into like another high that I have.
Mm.
Um, which is also tied into the previous high. It feels like Survivor. We're getting to see all of the different tribes.
Mhm.
And because we get to see all of the different tribes, we get to see the tonal differences in the tribes. we have like the dominating tribe, we have the kumbaya tribe, and then we have
Yeah.
the constantly losing tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we don't have Banu, there's a little bit more space for us to see the dynamics in these tribes and how they differ from one another.
Mm-hmm.
And um I can't fault them too much for like focusing in on Yanu early on, because if we didn't get to see the hell that they went through, then we wouldn't have context for the joy that they feel now. And sort of the further sort of contextualization of it, or something that it's juxtaposed against, is the other tribes,
Mm.
right? So we see the Yanu tribe in relation to themselves in the past, and we see them in relation to the other tribes now. And
Yeah.
seeing them situated in that context and winning, just quote unquote winning because they got second, but still getting their flint.
Well, not losing.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
not
we.
Not
not
losing.
losing, right?
And
Seeing
happy.
them
Alright.
not losing makes you feel things because of what it was juxtaposed against, right? Because like the whole art of moving picture is an art of juxtaposition, where you compare one image or scene or
Mm.
shot or sequence in relation to another that has come before,
Mm. And
you know.
it helps make you form the context of what happens in between the relationship between those two pictures. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I really like that. That was quite the high, seeing that win. But then, because of showing the different tribes, and to an extent, yeah, showing the absolute mess, and sort
Mm.
of building the ultimate underdog story, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the 90s LA Clippers,
Oh
like
my god. The
going
post
up
Ron Harper Clippers. The post.
like
That's more
going up
terrible.
against like going up against the Chicago Bulls or something,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, you know, that's what it kind of felt like. Um or it's sort of like I was a big fan of the Utah Jazz in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something that we know, is that they didn't really win against the Bulls, right? So
Mm.
it's like Yanu is like the Utah Jazz.
They just
They're
couldn't
more.
win.
I'm sorry. They're more lovable than the Utah Jazz of the 90s. No
Well,
offense.
they're both purple. They're both purple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
they're both
yeah.
purple.
Yeah. No offense,
Mm.
though.
Yeah. And I think what also helped. I mean, we've been talking about how Survivor US has slowly become more and more cinematic,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
that slow mo. No, not the slow mo, but the post win close up shots
Uh-huh.
of Yano.
Yeah.
Right, all of those
Oh
close-up
yeah.
shots with all of their relief, the relief and the 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 joy that
The
they felt at
joy of
finally
winning.
not losing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and that sort of helped also, I guess, making. I also felt things during with that non-loss, right?
Yeah.
And and
And,
and, and again, kudos to Survivor
Yeah.
production for
Good
being
job.
able
Good
to pull
job.
that, to do that, and show it, the storytelling that they did for us there.
I guess it also helps that Kenzie is my canonical winner pick. Immune. Um because Kenzie is, wait, no, it's the tribal stage. So we need a tiki man.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to acknowledge the Tiki
Okay.
Man.
I know
Tiki
you're
man.
Tiki Man.
It's Tiki man. When am I gonna poop, Tiki man? Grogu, just for the people
Grogu.
that are listening and not watching. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. Apart from Survivor, we quite like Star Wars. Um, what was I? Oh yeah. And seeing Kenzie light that fire.
Mhm.
It was like the breaking of a dam. It was like floodgates opening, and it felt like it felt like sort of, the first rain after a drought, or the first beams of sunlight coming in
Yeah,
after
for
like a
dark.
3 day storm. Like that's kind of what it felt like when, we finally saw the when we finally saw those sparks burst into flame. So, you know, great way to take advantage of like people suffering Survivor.
Uh,
Yes, I think that a large part of the good things that happened in this episode really is centered around Yanu's success, finally succeeding in averting another tribal. I think in the new era, it was Shan and Ricard who ended up like as the final two, right? In their tribe.
yeah.
No other
Yeah,
tribe has gone down to
Nope.
two except for that tribe.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
They were just
For
absorbed.
the new era, that is.
Yeah, the new era.
Yeah,
Yeah,
new
that's what I
era.
said.
Yeah, new
Yeah.
era. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
So who's the most invisible person in the other tribes? Because that person is gonna win.
That's yeah, actually who's
That's
it
a
gonna
good
be?
question.
Yeah. Because
That's too edgy.
yeah. Uh, anyway, speaking of your tiki man and you asking when you're gonna poop. I just wanted I found it the high. It's a funny high. It's not my highest of highs, but it's a funny high.
Yeah.
Tim flying through that course was like a guy racing home because he needed to poop. Right? that obstacle course. I mean, Tim was like breezing through that course,
Yeah.
and he ended up like being the cause of the loss. But yeah, uh, but yeah, I mean that was pretty cool to see that. Yeah, it's a funny high for me. But really, my highest of highs for this episode, and I sort of called this also, but the fact that Jem's antics finally bit her in the butt, uh,
Yeah.
going home with an idol in her pocket. Uh, I really couldn't see how what she did could end up in her favor outside of it being fun for her, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
the only plus for her was that no one knew during the course of the game that's what she did, right?
I'm uh I'm I'm pretty sure Tiki Man told Tim. That's how
So
he was
the
able to. That's why they
yeah
told her like, so where's the idol? Where did you hide the idol?
yeah
Or the beware advantage? She's like, what beware advantage? That's been consuming your tribe for 3 days. You should know what the beware advantage is by this point. But yeah, it was probably like, Tim was like, hey, so Tiki Man, when am I gonna poop? And he was like, oh,
yeah.
speaking of poop, you know the poop tree? Yeah. It's like,
Ah.
we're gonna tell you about your tribe mate Gem. I don't know where to put Tiki Man. I'll put him back here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I who knows? Production might have like a speaker in Tiki Man that gives them clues every so often. That's why Tim has some spy shit going on. Right?
Instead of tree mail, they get a voicemail from Tiki Man.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd love that.
yeah, yeah. And it was also funny for me when Jem said, right, it was juxtaposed. It was one after the other. Jem said, "I'm a good liar. I don't believe how I'm such a good liar. My husband wouldn't believe it." And then Tim goes, "I don't believe her."
Yeah. Uh, so what are they saying about Jem's husband? Is what we're is what I'm thinking. Like, are they saying that Jem's husband is a gullible fool, or are they saying that Jem's husband has the patience of a saint? Like, I
It
know.
can be either one of the things. Yes.
They pity the fool.
Anyway,
Anyway,
yeah.
uh,
But
well,
yeah, so
yeah.
speaking of that high, I like that little Tiki Man interaction.
Mm,
It's like we have an additional character. We have like a 19 we have a 2020 Castaways season because we have the two Tiki Mans. Right?
yeah.
This was the second time that it has played. I mean, not a big role, like
Yeah.
strategically or whatever. But it was the second time that we had a cute little moment with the Tiki Man.
Mm-hmm.
The first one
Mhm.
being Venus's
Trying to hand it over to
yeah,
the headband.
yeah, the headband, and Jeff cutting it with a pair of scissors
Yeah.
or a knife. Like, lucky for you, I always have a knife, and he pulls out a knife. Like that was a really cool interaction. It was a way to um, anthropomorphize Tiki Man a little bit, and then
Mm-hmm.
they pushed it a step further in this one where we actually had Tim asking like, "So, blah blah blah," right? And not sure if it would have worked without. I mean, I'm sure it still would have, but I think it hit a little bit harder because of the thing that Venus did. Um, and I suppose this is also a high from Martin, but we are, after all, just immature children at heart, you know. Like
Yeah.
I did get the cell phone number 69 420 42. Um, but uh we find it funny, or at least I find it funny when Survivor sort of veers into the scatological, like,
Mm-hmm.
and this isn't the first time they've done it this season, right? They talk about aqua dumps and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
apparently that was the poop tree, and I don't know. We've spoken about this at length in a previous episode, talking about a previous season that also
Mm-hmm.
had some low key like scat jokes in them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
my favorite
yeah.
being Gabon. You can eat the elephant tongue. The old lady.
Yeah, medevac because he couldn't poop.
Yeah. It seems a lot of things
Because he was a
revolve
meat
around
collector. So,
scatology, right?
I mean, Jeff does say that Survivor is for the kids, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
while there are like a lot of really cool strategic things for us grown-ups to like appreciate, and sort of the nuances of human interaction and whatnot. Like every now and then you need a good fart joke in there to remind us that this is for immature children, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There's the scatology. We're getting more and more of it in this season again.
Yes.
Yeah, last season there wasn't was there? Wait, yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's good to see this, and it's good to see Sassy Jeff again, right?
Yeah.
Coming out more and more.
He's
Uh,
been listening to the fans on the internet, like
yeah.
Sassy Jeff.
Mm.
Sort of related to the high from last week, where he finally like admitted that the shillelagh of time was a bad idea.
Uh-oh.
Like, yeah, he kind of admitted. He kind of consciously started bringing back um Sassy Jeff.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
mean, even here, even the castaway said, "Jeff, that's so sassy." When he said, "The third team to finish, otherwise known as
the losers. I thought you
losers,"
were
and then
gonna
he,
say Yanu.
I thought they were gonna say Yanu.
Oh man,
That was just, I mean, that's such a sassy Jeff thing to say. Right? And he's getting
yeah,
more at ease. He feels that the castaways are a little more at ease now,
yeah,
as compared to maybe 41, when people were still like, everything was up into the air with regards to the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
That was...
and right now, everyone's easing up a little bit more, and
yeah,
he feels that he can let out a sassy remark every now and then.
yeah. So
So
I
yeah,
suppose
sassy Jeff.
that's another high, huh? Sassy Jeff.
Yeah, sassy Jeff, coming out more and more. Yeah, Marts, do you have any other highs?
Oh, well, the other high would be, aside from the Yanu win, I think that would be it. Because They won.
Mm.
I got
Yeah,
nothing else.
exactly. Yeah, a lot of it is a lot of the highs. I think is really around that win. And the fact that we don't have, well, that's a low for me. I'll talk about it later. And I mean, again, another kudos to the production of Survivor. What are y'all talking about montage? You alluded to it, Joe.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that montage. I mean, it goes to show you. I mean, how would you approach two people who are whispering or talking? And it is a game where information is very important, and you're trying to include yourself in the conversation, but you do not want to be intrusive about it, right? How would you do it?
Change it
Would
up
you?
every time.
I mean, if you were Kenzie, oh, just don't say how. What are you all talking about?
Yeah. So,
What are
what's
you
on your
talking
mind?
about, everybody?
Hmm.
What's on your mind? Or so what do you think about what happened earlier? That sort of
Hmm.
thing. Yeah.
Hmm. Apparently, that's her go-to. So, what are you all talking about?
Yeah. What are y'all talking about? Well, different strokes. Huh? Huh?
Yeah,
Huh? Huh?
I
yeah.
see what you did there.
uh,
Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, where I think it was no buffs when they said that it's probable that it's not unimaginable for Kenzie to actually go around her salon or the salon where she works, and because she wants to get in on the conversation, and she does not want to like impose a topic, so she goes, "So what are you all talking about?" Right. So that's the whole. It's
Makes
not,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, it's not impossible to think that, unimaginable to think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like her key, one of her key phrases. Like, yeah, like you have those people that will just text the same thing when they're asking like, so what are we going to be doing today or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I had this friend in high school that whenever like he wanted to go out with people, he just send a group message to everybody that just said sup. And we all and we all knew that meant like, all right, I'll be at your house at 8,
Mm.
that sort of thing. So yeah, it could be like one of her signature phrases at her salon.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What did y'all think
Any
of the journey?
the journey.
oh,
Well,
it first.
one part of it is in my lows. The other part of it is here in my highs.
Okay.
Good for Q. Good for Q thinking of the whole Brochachos Part 2 thing. Right?
Yeah.
Brochachos 2.0. Right? Forming an alliance with, I mean, that's one of the reasons why they do journeys, so that people from the
Mhm.
different tribes interact with each other. And then
Yeah.
if the right set of people actually do get together,
It'll be good.
it's an opportunity uh for things to get upended in the
Mm.
tribes, in their original tribes, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Or my fear with that is like, yeah, they're talking about like this could be the new brochachos, but it could also be the new Exile Alliance, which is just something that was supposed to be like that was supposed to take catch everybody off guard and just sort of they just sort of ninja their way into like to the end game, but it
Uh-huh.
just it just amounted to nothing basically,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? That Exile Alliance. So this could be another Exile Alliance, or it could be the Brochachos.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was actually going to be my
yeah,
question. Do you think it's really going to happen?
I hope
uh
so.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because I kind of like this. I like this journey. Like the
Mm-hmm.
gameplay on this journey. I'm not 100% on the task itself. Um, you know, but pretty cool. Like the mechanics of it could have been better. Maybe like, they get another shot or something. Like they get to ask, "Am I correct?" And then they say yes or no. Um, but the whole thing about somebody has to play,
Mm.
right? So you're sort of um you sort of have to social game your way around it, right? And you kind of have to and whoever decides to play, whoever decides not to play is sort of information already, and it forces interaction, unlike some of the previous journeys where it was like, all right, get to know each other for like 5 minutes on the beach, and then this is where your paths diverge. Okay, now stick your hand in like a bag and pull out dice to see whether you're going to play a game that has absolutely no effect on the other people that you went on the journey with. Like at that point you might as well have just like given them dice in their sleep and have them roll it and play it right there on the spot, right? it
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
it defeats the purpose. But it reminded me of like that first journey, the one with Jelinski. Like that was a pretty cool
Mm.
journey because it
Mm.
forced
Yeah.
people to interact with each other. There was this big risk reward sort of thing, the prisoner's dilemma, um ish, sort of dancing around that sort of idea. And this was another one of those sort of journeys, it felt like, where there was actual agency in it. And the journeys that I've enjoyed the most were the ones that gave players agency in the game. So they're up to you whether or not you risk your vote.
Mhm.
You can just walk away and do nothing. But then there's that added kink now of it's not entirely up to you whether or not you get to risk your vote, right? Because you have two other people that might want to convince you in one way or another.
Mhm.
And so that's interesting from like a mechanics sort of point of view. So, I found that particular journey to be a high.
Yeah. It just so happens that like neither
Yeah.
Tim nor Q wanted to actually do the task, right?
Yeah.
Tim didn't want to risk his vote, and I don't think that Q is like much of a super fan.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean the journey itself for me was pretty good. Yeah, this is where we diverge. This is where our paths diverge, yeah, because
Oh.
the actual challenge for me is actually alone. But yeah, but I
I,
think
I
that
wasn't a I wasn't a big fan of the actual challenge
mm,
itself.
but the
Um,
getting there, that's what you were
yeah,
that's made you
yeah,
high.
yeah, because mm, I'm I don't know. I miss I miss like real old school Survivor where the challenges were, related to like
Mm,
surviving, and
Yeah.
they were more
Uh,
thematically relevant.
yeah.
mhm,
It's very navel gazy, and I don't know if I like that or not,
mm,
right?
yeah,
But then it isn't the first time that there was a Survivor quiz on Survivor.
but it's just that I don't know who would get these things. Would you have get it, Marts?
Would you have gotten it, Matt?
Would you
I
have gotten 20 out of
would
20?
I would if this was episode 2 or 1. Uh, you have to look into the factors of how long they've been in the game.
Uh huh.
And I don't think it's the right time to give this chance. It was too late, given how broken down their bodies are at that rate of the game and how fast paced this game is. It's
Mm,
not fair to anyone at that point of the game, period, that you did that challenge. Like, this could have been the first app or second app because you had the super fans there, like Banu. You
I don't
I
know,
think this.
I question that. I
I
question that. But
Me too. I question that. I
like
question
Banu.
the possibility of Banu's success in completing the challenge.
but also,
yeah, I can
also,
see Mark's point. Like,
there's a down here, and I'm telling you, this is what I'll just say who my goat of the week is. Hunter's friend. Like,
Mm.
dude, should have given chronology. You could have showed it to him chronologically. He would have won this. It's all
But
your
how
fault,
would he
whoever
have
you are,
known
Hunter's
though?
friend.
How
Right?
would he have known? Anyway.
But
That's your
Yeah,
fault.
I do
uh,
understand where his friend might be coming from, because I mean, if
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna introduce someone to
yeah.
a
Show the
show
good
that you are
parts,
such a fan
obviously.
of,
Show
show
the
them
good
first
parts.
what you like,
Yeah.
right? Try to get them hooked
you,
on it.
yeah, man, you sort of skip the late 20s. You know,
Survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
you
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 skip Thailand. I'm sorry, Thailand.
you
Skip
uh
Thailand.
you skip those seasons around Survivor Philippines, right?
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
exception of Survivor Philippines, because
Yeah, of course. That
that
was
was a
good.
good season
Yes, it
in
introduces the
a
Tony.
that's Cagayan, but like
Again.
Survivor
Oh,
Yeah,
Philippines with Malcolm.
Philippines, yeah, with
yeah,
Malcolm and Denise,
Malcolm,
right?
Malcolm
Malcolm and
Denise.
Denise, man.
That was like a gem in
Yeah,
like
Mm.
you know
yeah.
in like mosquito
Oh
infested
yes.
swamp water like you know but yeah, so I can see that, like, don't show it chronologically, because you
Yeah.
have to kind of skip
Skip the bad one.
yeah,
Yeah.
skip the bad seasons. But like I can see with Martin how this can be like good for the game, in the sense that if you had it as like the
Yeah. Like
sweat savvy,
Mm-hmm.
you still have um the like the Zach Wurtenbergers of the world, the
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
what's his name, Brandon,
Brando.
The Brando guy last season, I
Oh
think.
no, no,
He was
Brandon.
he's
Brandon
yeah,
also.
oh
Brandon,
Brandon.
yeah,
Oh yeah, Brandon.
I can't remember
Yeah.
his family or
Yeah.
his surname. Yeah, like those are the challenges that they would have absolutely killed, you
Yeah.
know, and we wouldn't have to feel so bad for Brando, or Brandon rather. We would have to feel
Brandon.
so bad for Brandon. Um, but then again,
I don't know.
when I see that particular like quiz challenge
Mm-hmm.
puzzle, whatever, like I know that somebody like Owen Knight would absolutely kill it, and he was in the final three. So yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
It feels too late in the game
It
for
takes a
me.
special kind
Yeah.
of super fan, a super duper geek fan,
Like
to
Yeah,
get all of
yeah.
that chronologically.
it's one of
Probably probably like someone who watches all of the seasons of Survivor
yeah.
on repeat,
Yep.
Mm,
Or
on loop.
someone who
yeah.
plays brandsteel.net, like the survivor simulator, where you do see all the logos like in
Oh.
chronological order in one site. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a too little too late situation for me. So yeah, this is one of my lows as well.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
Well, I could, but then this is sort of, I guess, like results oriented in a way,
yeah.
because it was Hunter that ended up having to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like Hunter would have been like too imba a survivor player
If
if
he
he
didn't
actually got
lose.
that,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like nobody is if anybody ever questions like Hunter's cred as a super fan, like no, you're
No.
absolutely wrong about your
No.
criticism,
Yeah.
because this guy builds, like literally builds the challenges and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
He's
So
got a
like
whole room full of like pieces for challenges,
Yeah,
huh?
man.
yeah, so it was if Hunter had gotten this, like I would have felt so sorry for every like subsequent survivor applicant, right? Because like that would just be like sort of one upping every time.
Yeah.
Like we had Carson and his 3D printed puzzles, and like all of a sudden now we have um
Hunter.
Hunter, but what's his name also had uh
Oh, right.
Matthew from
Matthew.
one of the,
Matthew.
yeah,
Yeah, the
Yeah.
right.
salon owner.
He also built another salon owner, or a hairstylist, just whatever it was, whatever his occupation was. But he also built like a thing in
There
his
were two of them.
backyard,
There,
right?
Jam is also like
Well,
hairstylist or
Hairstylist.
salon.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
we're digressing. Yeah, but he also made puzzle. He also made challenges in his
yeah.
backyard.
So he only alluded to maybe having one or two of them, and then we have this current season Hunter's Shed, which is
Mm-hmm.
just
So many.
just a whole
So
bunch of
yeah.
like survivor puzzles. And if you give him if the universe had conspired and given him the ability to absolutely kill Survivor trivia, or at the very least the ability to like
Yes, that
arrange
challenge
arrange
for
the
the
logos
logos.
in chronological order, like nobody's going to apply for Survivor anymore. You
He'll
know?
set the bar higher. So technically, we have to thank Hunter's friend, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Hunter's friend.
Because like because if you're survivor casting, there's no way you're not going to cast Hunter after he shows you like all of the survivor
Hmm.
um like stuff that he built. Like there's no way you're not going to. But then at the same time, like for the people that are applying, you have the bar set, at
Oh my
least it's
god.
it's perceived to be set super high, which is sort of why like Jeff seems to be going on the charm offensive when it comes to his his uh his talking about who gets cast on Survivor. Like right on his podcast he keeps on saying like, oh yeah, we're looking for you as a person and all of that sort of
Oh.
thing, and trying to make it such that people don't have to worry about having to go through all of the hoops of like um
Yeah.
3D printing of building challenges. um but he wasn't doing that spiel any favors by explicitly introducing a challenge that requires you to know Survivor trivia um in that way,
Aspect.
right? Because like Survivor trivia is fine, I guess. Like, if you're asking like, oh yeah, so who won this particular season?
Hmm.
Where where is um man, like where is Cagayan, right? Like what country is
Hmm.
Cagayan in, like that that sort of thing, I guess, is kind of fine. But once you start getting into arranging logos chronologically, I think that might be introducing a barrier that some people might not have sort of the depth of knowledge or the desire to reach that depth of knowledge to sort of do. But then at the same time, you probably have more people like your Owens of the world and your Brandons of the world that are like, oh yeah, I could have done that. I better apply,
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know.
I got into theater because I watched the play and I said, I can do that. I can do better than that. Right. So, well, we probably have those kinds of survivor fans. I'm not one of those. I would not
Yeah.
have been able to arrange aside. I wouldn't. I when he said, I know this. It's Borneo, and I was like, oh, that's the logo of Borneo.
The blue one, the blue one.
The first
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, the first, yeah, yeah,
Oh, that was the logo of Borneo. Oh, okay, cool.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, bar is high, but I still have heard or read or whatever came across people saying that they would have been able to do it, and Martin is right, because they would have been able to do it if that was the only thing that they needed to do, and they didn't have to go through like how many days, X number, 10 days of
Yeah, 10
Mm.
days nonstop.
poor nutrition, rain, not getting enough sleep because of the rains, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it's hard. It looks easy when you're just watching it, and I think who was it who said that this season? It's harder than it
Looks like.
looks. One of them actually said it.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah. So
And
yeah.
if ever,
And if we had like a hunter who would also be good at these things, I mean, they should just give him the title
like, he should
Yeah.
right
already
after right
win.
after he does
Just
it.
give him the damn thing, right?
Yeah, just
Just give
just give him just give him the million.
give him a million. Guys, it's over. It's already over in
Oh
5x.
man.
It's already, yeah.
Right. Physical threat, social threat,
Hmm.
strategic threat. you know,
Trivia
Yeah.
threat.
challenge threat,
Wow.
now a trivia threat. Like,
God. This
come
is
on.
everything that Jeff wanted. It's like Rob Mariano slash Malcolm slash, all rolled into one
Mhm.
package.
Well, that's interesting. No, we're getting to see people that seem to be like genetically modified to play
To Jeff's
Survivor
tastes.
perfectly, you know. Last season we had Caleb.
Mm.
Like um, you know, we had Ricard who, like
Mhm.
Ricard was like you look at him, you listen to him talk, like, yeah, this guy seems to be, you know, genetically
Yeah,
predisposed
because
to Survivor.
I think that's also the product of the fact that these castaways probably grew up really watching the show. I mean, us,
Yeah.
we watch it, we watch it casually, but they probably were like so intent in watching the show, and they're the ones who actually do apply for the to be part of the show, right?
Mm.
That's why they're
This,
quote unquote genetically modified because they
yeah, this is
live and breathe survival.
self-selecting, no? Like you have, I don't know, when you go on Survivor, though, like the things that there are things that you have to know how to do when it comes to certain reality shows. Like with Survivor, you have to know how to make fire. That's a non-negotiable. With The Amazing Race, you have to know how to drive stick shift because you never know where you're going to end up. So yeah. But in this particular season, we have Hunter and Ben that seem to be
Mhm.
the people that are the most like, these guys look like they were built to play this game.
Yeah,
So, they're sort of like the citizens of District 1 from the Hunger Games, if you will.
yeah. Trained from infancy to become survivor contestants. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, technically, the Hunger Games is sort of Survivor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they literally have to survive. The soul become the sole survivor,
Yeah.
and in those books, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess suffice it to say that Ben, at the very least, Ben and Hunter are slated to be favorites, and with big chances at callbacks for future seasons. Right?
Speaking of callbacks,
Hmm.
speaking of callbacks, I'm not sure if this is a low, but I'm going to count it as a low. The flashbacks, man. Too many flashbacks.
What's the
You can
flashbacks?
you can
During
kind of tell.
Hunter sequence.
Not only during Hunter's sequence, they've been doing this for the past two
Oh.
seasons. Um, well, the first one that I can remember was like, yeah, we're Rob and Amber, and
Uh,
look at how that turned out. They brought Wendell into the mix. Um, you know about that, right? Like the
Yes, I
you
do.
know
I
you,
do.
you know you know about that rumor, right? So,
I don't think it's a rumor.
well, allegedly, I'm
Yeah.
trying to not say anything definitive. Allegedly,
Allegedly.
allegedly is the understand
Mhm.
the collective understanding of
The
the
situation.
Sportitos, you know. But um, what's it? Yeah, well, when they had the Rob and Amber flashback for D and Austin, like,
Mhm.
yeah, that was cool. And then now, like, they have more flashbacks. And what I didn't like about them production wise is that they didn't really indicate that they were flashbacks visually.
excuse me. Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Um,
Like,
like you didn't have that soft sort of frame of white around it with like a little overlay that makes it feel a little bit, like it didn't have it didn't use the visual language of the flashback or
Mhm.
memory so much, right? Like it was as though you were watching Boston Rob on the season when it cut to Boston Rob during um during Hunter's flashback to Survivor Marquesas. Like I think in the previous flashbacks when they did the flashback to Malcolm and Denise. Like they still did the whole memory thing where it had
Mm.
like a fuzzy white border, if I remember that correctly. But like with this one, it didn't feel like they didn't show it as a flashback. It didn't feel like a flashback for some of them. So there's that. But then at the other but then the other thing about it is um yeah, we get it. You're trying to sell Paramount Plus, like you know.
Watch all of the previous seasons in Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is like I said, I don't know if I like it when Survivor gets too navel gazy, and this seems to be this particular episode or this particular sequence with Hunter seems to be like going towards the side of a little too navel gazy for my liking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my low for that sequence particularly is well, aside from the fact that it was designed for super duper geek fans, uh, it's still the same thing. It's about the presentation, how they presented it. I would have been okay with it probably if they gave us a lower thirds
Yeah.
showing his progress, a sports type
Yeah.
thing showing his progress.
Yeah.
So we have like one line, all of the logos that are there, and then another line showing how he put them together, so that us as viewers and the super duper geek fans who actually know that the chronology of seasons would get more, how do you call it? They get more interaction with the sequence, and they'd shout at Hunter for like, no, that's not her. That's not when that happened. It's this, it's that, right?
True,
It
true.
becomes a sports event rather than yeah. You can probably still put the flashbacks, but yeah, you're right. It has to have that cueing with a right way of telling the flashback with a white with the white borders and stuff. But yeah, again, the way that they told that the challenge was pretty. It could have been done better, basically.
Yeah. Uh Wait. Instead, all we got was like 1 second, right? Of like
Hmm.
all of the logos just sort of put up on the screen. Where is it? I know that I have it here somewhere.
Okay.
I just wasn't able to set it up. Dang
On
it.
your broadcasting.
Yeah. Never mind. I give up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if we could have, if they could have shown it in the lower thirds, like all of the 20 logos, however small it comes out, or 20 on one side, the 20 logos would be there, and then on the other side would be how Hunter was arranging them.
Yeah. That would have been it's just sort of like in 41 when they had those Rebus puzzles.
Hmm.
It
Right?
was it was sort of like a play along kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then as audiences, especially again, like I said, especially those who know the chronological order of the seasons, they'd be like, "No, this was before that." And then if they were watching with someone, another super fan, they'd be like, "No, because Pearl Islands happened before yada yada yada." And it would create discussion. There you go. It gave you enough time to get it up there.
There,
uh,
Martin. Can you
would
can you
you be
arrange
able
these? Would you be able to arrange these in order?
I could, but not in this recording. Like, it's gonna take so much of our
to?
time. I think I tried it last time, like Friday. I don't think I could have done it even with the timer that was given to them.
Yeah,
Is the
we don't
timer
know how
three
much time
minutes?
they. I don't know. We don't know how
That's the
much time they
problem,
have.
right?
We don't know how much time they have.
Yeah.
But because for me, I think I would have been hard pressed when it's on 20 onwards.
Because
Mm.
that's kind of the part of the history of Survivor that we sort of have to, you know.
To skip.
Yeah, try to bleach off our
Yeah.
collective minds.
Well, yeah.
After heroes versus villains, there was winners at war. I can say. I'm sorry, Karamuin. I still love you though.
It was
Or
pretty
South
good.
Pacific.
No, it started getting better in the 30s, man. Come on, let's just say
Yeah.
it got better in the 30s.
Not
Uh,
39.
No,
If
not
you know what I
39, not
mean.
39. Yeah.
The guy with the sexual
Yeah.
predator there.
Yeah.
uh,
in the same way that Survivor Philippines was like the shining beacon of
oh
hope
yeah.
in an otherwise like mush of mediocrity. You know, maybe in some of the good runs we need to have one or two that aren't that good just to prove that like Survivor isn't, you know, I don't know.
The Survivor
I don't
isn't
know.
scripted.
Yeah, to prove that Survivor isn't scripted.
Well,
uh
anyway, I'm gonna connect your low of the flashbacks to my low, one of my lows. The fact that we still got a flashback to Banu in this in this episode. We had just divested ourselves of Banu, but yet we still got his cringe-worthy highlights in this
What do you mean? Oh,
during the previously on Survivor.
well, of course. What happened previously on
Yeah,
Survivor was
they did,
Banu.
but they did they have to include that the whole his finger at God and then his whole cringe-worthy kneeling in front of Tiff, all of those things. They didn't need to do that. They could have just shown us him getting voted off, right?
You
That
gotta
would have
give
been
Jeff
okay.
his phone.
Oh, come on.
yeah,
Yeah, it's for
I can
Jeff, guys.
I can understand though. I can understand where you're coming from, Joel. It
Me
doesn't
too.
it
It
was
wasn't.
still Banu's story that they were
Yeah.
showing.
Yeah.
You know, what they yeah, they could have
Favorites.
shown us they could have shown us Yanu losing
Yeah,
Mm.
that would have made more sense.
instead of showing us like, you know, yeah, showed us a lot of Yanu losing and then just culminating with like Banu getting voted off.
Yeah.
You know, because
Well
that's
spoken,
kind of what happened. But you know,
We
Jeff.
didn't need the
Jeff.
whole.
Jeff.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
liked it last time when it was mermaid or dragon.
Yeah, that
See
was his
that?
first episode. That was nice.
Yeah, that would have been a good previous on Survivor, not this one.
Oh, well, it did come out in
Yeah,
previously on Survivor, the episode after that, right?
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I agree with Zhao. They could have just shown us snippets of all of the immunity challenges that Yanu lost, right? So and just to because they needed to, it was one of my highs. The framing, the previously on framed really well what was gonna
Oh,
happen in this
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
So because they showed us Gem's antics, the payoff was that Gem was that's going to blow up in her face.
Sure.
Because they showed us Yanu's downfall, it the payoff was Yanu's gonna win, right? All of those things. And yeah, but they didn't need to show us Banu.
All I
they,
know
they they didn't need to show us too much of Banu.
Yeah.
all I know is that on Instagram, Kenzie's bio has Mermaid Dragon on Survivor 46.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nice.
Mermaid
that that's on her
dragon.
bio. That's on her bio. So
Uh,
very good. Very good. Um speaking of Gem, her gameplay was kind of low.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 That again, really,
Actually.
it would not have resulted in any good thing for her outside
Yep.
of her getting some laughs.
Yeah. So much so that I need to just
Yeah,
for the listeners, I just brought out a hammer.
brought out a hammer. Well, apparently the whole machete thing, she was able to. I think she was able to justify it because she was known as the machete person. She was the one who used the machete a lot or something like that.
Yeah, she was the one that
Yeah.
chopped up the coconuts, right? That
Yeah,
did all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, makes
yeah.
sense. Makes sense. She got lucky, I guess, if that was her task.
Hmm. Especially since the task, yeah, involved. I actually like the mechanics of that task.
Yeah.
Measure everything using a machete. I'm like, wow.
Survivor, all of Survivor's props are measured in machete lengths.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
from now on, it's like, so from now on, you have to swim 50 machete, length of 50 machete.
yeah. It's one of those non-standard units, like a
Yeah.
smoot. What was that? Like a smoot, like there's like this frat or something that like one of during the hazing of one of their like pledges or something. They're like measure this bridge in like the height of Mr. Smoot here. Like
Oh.
so they had him like lie down on the bridge and they measured it in smoots. So it became like a non-standard unit, like 1.6 something meters.
Uh-huh.
Um, let me look that up.
And there was a meme that came out actually that the fact that they asked Jem to measure it in machetes just goes back to how much Americans really do not want to use the metric system.
Anything but the metric system.
Yeah, anything but the metric system. So yeah, machete is now a form of measurement, a unit of measurement to them.
American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gem's gameplay was a low.
Eh.
Also, I, I don't know if this was like a production problem or if it was just a Gem problem, but it didn't feel like Gem had a story,
Mm.
Maybe she really did it.
right? And if she didn't have a story, then they should have just given her like this unceremonious boot. Like they could have given her the Swati treatment where
Mm-hmm.
where they sort of show her being a social butterfly and that being the reason that she goes that they vote her off, you know because there really wasn't an emotional payoff, or no, there really wasn't a logical payoff for setting up like the wild goose chase dick move idol thing.
Mm-hmm.
We got an emotional payoff by her getting voted out, but there wasn't like a story payoff.
Yeah.
Unless
It
unless
didn't
it
make
comes
sense.
back,
It really did
yeah.
not make sense.
Unless it comes back later, somehow like in conversation, maybe there might be some sort of payoff there. But it isn't, you know.
But I don't even think anyone knew. I don't know if she even like revealed that she what she did,
Yeah,
right?
well, Q had an inkling. Maybe they find the box or whatever, and everybody, or maybe it could be it could be everybody's playing paranoid because they think that one of them still has the idol, not knowing that
Mm-hmm.
it went out with Gem, that sort of thing. But as it stands right now, I'm hoping it's setting something up, and it's not just that was the only thing that was interesting that she did,
Mm-hmm.
and so like production had to include it.
Oh yeah.
Production had to go to the extent of like putting a GoPro in the poop hole, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Just that was a low.
Well, speaking of strategies, what do you guys think about Venus's strategy of annoying Hunter?
I found it
uh,
God. I
Ah,
found it clever.
uh-huh.
it's all right.
I found it clever. Um, yeah, it was like good, good strategy. Just always be there,
Hmm. I
you
mean,
know.
being around Hunter, that was good, but for her to say that, for her to outright tell Hunter that, you know what, you're a meat shield, you're a threat,
And
you're a
then
meat shield.
Yeah, I mean that wasn't annoying.
Hmm.
That
Well,
wasn't
the annoying
something
part was her
annoying.
like sticking around,
Yeah, because she was like, "I'm gonna
basically
stick around,"
stalling
and
Hunter's idol search.
and if he finds it annoying, so be it. But
Hmm.
that clever because it's a game about information.
Hmm.
So instead of actually looking for the idol, you're watching somebody else in case they find the idol. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a good strategy, but it could be
Yeah.
emergent gameplay. Um, I mean, it obviously didn't work because he still found the thing, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
As to her saying that he's a meat shield, um, it's it's one of those like as a sort of survivor move to say that depends on the type of player that you're talking to,
Hmm.
right? And because if it might not be
Uh-huh.
good for her, it might not have been the best move for her to say that to Hunter, because Hunter doesn't seem to have an ego about him. But if you said that to like somebody else that felt good about being like the buff dude on the tribe,
Hmm.
it might
Oh yeah.
play into their it might be playing into their ego, like, yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
she might have gotten some flack for it because I think she was live tweeting during the episode, and
Mm,
Oh,
she went
okay.
on a rant about how at this point in time she already knew where the alliances were, and she basically knew she was on the outs. I mean, she's been saying it in her confessionals. She's been on the outs,
yeah.
and she didn't see the point of schmoozing with
Mm,
with those in higher in the pecking order. So she just went ahead and was honest about things, right? But you're right; it might not be the best thing to do. But
for
with
Hunter.
Hunter, yeah,
I with Hunter, rather.
yeah.
Yeah. uh at least she made it to the merge, which means we're gonna get
Mhm.
our like Venus flipping on everybody.
Unless she's the merge boot.
Uh-huh.
You could.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other lows? Marts, Joe.
Got nothing, man. I think I'm good.
Ah, that's
Good job.
got nothing for you.
All right. Yeah. Well, for
You
me,
got
this was
nothing.
a fairly uneventful episode outside of the Yanu win. I mean, the Yanu win was like the highlight of this episode.
Yeah.
Everything else, yes, we did see a lot of it, but there wasn't. I guess we can say there wasn't too much drama
Uh-huh.
for us to really latch on to. Right?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
seems to be setting up a lot,
Mm.
which had this season not had Banu induced constipation, um this would have been good as an episode that sets up coming episodes, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, it sets up a lot of stuff for the merge, right?
yeah,
Muchachos 2.0, Venus,
yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Charlie
And
and Maria.
Charlie and Maria working the middle. And I actually have a question. I actually tweeted this at Skeets of No Buffs. Charlie and Maria, they are playing the middle, right? And they are silently controlling Siga. Come the merge, that role actually goes to the Yanu 3.
Yes,
Do you think that they will be able to pull it off as well as what Charlie and Maria have been able to do?
Um,
they have huge targets on their back because of Banu.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
yep.
If anything, it's going to play into the hands of Maria and Charlie because everybody is going to be looking at Q and Tiffany as the potential pair to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
And you have sort of Charlie and Maria flying under the radar. We've already seen Maria be a little bit sneaky and under the radar by using her extra vote and putting like different handwriting on it.
Yeah,
Um,
that was good.
that that
Uh,
that was
Wait, did
cute.
she use both her votes
She
yeah, she
used
did
the
it.
in
extra vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Different
understand
spelling
why
too,
she did.
but
That was a
she did.
gameplay low.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm sure she had her reasoning. Like maybe she wasn't like 100% on everybody like piling their votes on Gem.
Mhm.
So just as a sort of added bit of
Safeguard. Let's
yeah, sort of added safeguard, but then
Assurance.
but
Yeah.
then the numbers don't seem to work out. But either way, um, she didn't know that Hunter didn't have a vote. I don't know. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, that
Wait,
was
Ben, you mean Ben. Ben didn't have a vote.
yeah, Ben, sorry,
Ben.
rather. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I like this episode. I like this episode as a setup episode.
Hmm. It's
If
in the
I
MCU. This is Thor,
yeah,
right?
this
It's
is the Thor ones. Setting up for a bigger
that's why
movie.
they had a hammer.
I knew
That's
it.
why
I
they
knew
had a
it.
hammer.
No wonder there's a hammer.
This was Thor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah. Um, yeah.
Oh,
I
I
just
guess
wish it
we
was
did.
earlier in the game, but unfortunately, Yanu went on the losing streak of the century. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So now let us go to predictions. First off, let's go with whose line is it actually? And Tiki Man, did we get it?
Eh,
Did any
yeah.
of us
let's
did
see.
you get it, Joe? I think
No,
you got it. You did?
no. I
Didn't you say?
predicted that Tim would get the previous episode.
Oh,
Um,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
don't touch the
yeah,
oven.
yeah. Uh, I said
Oh,
Kenzie, Joe, you said Ben, and Martin said
Mm.
said
Q.
Q.
All good guesses, all good guesses. But if if the episode were entitled Tiki Man, when am I gonna poop? I'm sure we would have either
Yeah.
gone Ben or Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no one got it.
So no one got anything there. Let's see. Um, let's go. Martin said that it's going to be Q talking about the idol, and that Siga goes to tribal.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You get a full
You got
you got a full point for
full
that
point for
because you
that.
got the exact
Yep.
yeah. But did you yeah you get a point for that. I was thinking of maybe we should give you an extra point for saying that Yanu is going to win by by omission, but then no.
Yeah, I said that the last time and I lost. So
Yeah. Um Joe, you said it was Ben talking about the idol.
Mhm.
Gem's game will blow up. I'm
that's
going to
true.
give you a half point for that
Yeah, half point. Yeah,
because
because
it blew up, but it didn't
it.
blow up for the reason that we thought it would.
Yeah.
Gem's game is gonna blow up. The downfall of Kumbaya Siga. Um, not sure.
Yeah, we're
Not
not
sure
yet
because we
sure. We're
didn't
not yet
because
sure because they all
right?
still voted. They all still voted for Jim, right?
Yeah,
No one
and
voted outside of him.
Mariah, apart from Mariah,
Oh yeah.
No.
and she looked like, oh, you guys are making a big mistake. That was the face that she gave. That everybody's making a big mistake face, but little does she know that she was the one that was making the big mistake because Jem played them all for fools.
Hmm.
Oh,
Um, uh Soda and Tevin thing is a red herring.
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah,
Nothing happened in this episode.
yeah, absolute red herring. Um, but if Nami goes to tribal, which they didn't, Tevin and Soda vote together. Um, I said Kenzie talking about the idol. I said Yanu wins immunity challenge. I'm gonna give
There
myself
you
half
go.
a
Okay.
point
Uh
for
huh.
that because they didn't
Why
win.
half point? Oh yeah,
Me.
yeah. They did not lose. Yeah.
Yeah, they did not lose. And what was the other one? Yanu wins immunity, and this is where the season picks up. That was, I
I
mean,
think. Yeah, we're like We're like getting there. We're not yet.
Yeah, we're at the cusp.
Yeah.
We are about to go over the hill in a roller coaster, if you will. So um I should have that as my prediction for this upcoming episode. This is where
Okay.
the season is gonna pick up. Yeah.
The season will finally pick up now.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. But before that, let's go with whose line is it actually? The title for the next episode is Cancel Christmas. What do you guys got?
Tevin.
Kevin.
Ooh.
And what's he talking about?
Cancel Christmas because it's already the merge or something like that. Then again, I
Okay.
think this is still mergatory, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, hmm. Who's doing really well right now?
Hunter.
Hunter.
Hunter. So
Get
we like
Hunter's
Hunter
praise.
saying like this is cancel Christmas because like we have such a good thing going, but then this is messing everything up. That's how I see this sort of that's how I see it.
Woo.
But then, who would have thought that Tiki Man was talking about poop?
Oh,
So I don't know. Hmm. I suppose I'm just gonna have to throw a name out there. Kenzie. Because that's what I said. Because that's what I said last time. I'm gonna say it again.
Say it again.
J- j- just
Kenzie.
so that just so that I can copy paste this.
Okay. And what's the
yeah.
context of her saying cancel Christmas?
Uh Something about losing. Because
All
it
right.
felt like it felt like a Christmas gift, right? It felt like a Christmas gift when they were told to drop their buffs because like they were
Mm-hmm.
doing really bad. And so it was like, oh yeah, it's like Christmas. And then like they're brought to the immunity challenge for Mergatory, which is like going to involve a huge boulder or something that's going to like, be absolutely horrible for everybody. And she's gonna say something like it was Christmas being canceled because, you know, you're told amazing news only to find out that you have to push a big boulder like Sisyphus.
And it's up a hill.
Yeah, it's up a
Definitely up
hill.
a hill.
Just like what Survivor season was that, Marts, with the athlete who is not an athlete?
Cabone.
Was it Gabon? Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Gabon, right? With
Crystal
the runner.
Cox.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Who can't
Yeah.
run.
And yeah, they
Yeah. A
did push a
boulder.
boulder
Yeah.
up a hill, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
mean, she
for
could
me,
run. She was just on drugs at the time, right?
Yeah, that's
yes, there
why.
you go. Yeah. Later on,
Sadly, she wasn't doping
she
on
was stripped.
Gabon.
She was stripped of her medals. Anyway, so for me, cancel Christmas is I'm saying that it's from Soda, and this is more of a question, but I think and because I wrote this down before you reminded me, Joe, that Jeff actually regretted having that on the show. But is there a possibility of the shillelagh of time coming back onto the
Oh,
game? She's like,
uh,
cancel Christmas because and she
Okay.
breaks the shillelagh
Swinging.
of time. And they already like planted it. They set it up when Jelinski threw that threw that hourglass,
Yeah.
right?
Oh man, our chief Duck is swinging for the fences.
oh,
It
Jalinsky
ain't
Menskin. I like that.
yeah. It ain't worth it if you don't swing for the fences, man. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, the shillelagh of time, it's coming back. And Soda is the one who's gonna break it. She's gonna say cancel Christmas because I'm gonna turn things around
Uh,
whilst breaking the shillelagh of time. Whilst using the shillelagh of time to break the hourglass.
Right.
if somebody's exit interview is correct, I would like to predict that one segment they will jokingly say, "Let's name our tribe. What name?" And someone's gonna shout Jalinsky
Mm.
as a suggestion.
Yeah.
That's a leak, right? Do we count that
Yeah.
as a leak? Do we count that as a leak?
Maybe.
Oth-
So we know that they're going to merge a Tory.
Quote unquote. Yeah,
mm,
mergatory.
at the very least, a mergatory. I do hope that they all finally get to partake in the feast before,
Yeah, before
right? Before
Uh,
going on the
Princess
challenge.
Soleil.
that's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know, but it just seems so unfair.
Yeah,
One half of them don't get the merge feast.
yeah. That seems to be Jeff's theme for the new era. Life ain't
Yeah.
fair, kid. Deal with it.
Yeah,
Otherwise known as the losers.
the losers. I thought they
Losers.
were gonna
Take your
say,
flint. Sorry for you. You
"Oh,
spent 2 weeks
here's
without flint.
here's it's a prediction and a question as well. So my prediction is that Hunter, because he got to the merge, with a beware advantage, and it did say that new instructions are going to be given, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to predict that his new instructions is that he is going to need to convince, he's going to need to get stuff from members of other tribes.
Mm,
Oh,
So, and because it goes to the whole thing that what do you call this? More interaction is being encouraged between the tribes,
mm.
and it's not just each tribe is a silo and you're
yeah.
competing. Yeah. What
Mm.
about you guys? What do you think Hunter's new instructions will be?
New instructions. I wouldn't know.
Ah, Hunter will have to throw a challenge, but they don't like it when they
Yeah.
throw challenges.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or Hunter will need to sit out.
Yeah, Hunter
Whoa.
will have to
Whoa.
lose or sit out individual immunity
Damn. That's
to
tough.
get the idol.
And convince two others as well, right? Because this is usually also where like you've got, I
Yeah.
mean, when it's merged, you get the whole bargaining thing.
Yeah, yeah. Is
Uh,
Jeff gonna? But not
stab
yet
a
though.
rice.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
later on. It happens later on
yeah,
when they're already merged.
yeah. So there's gonna be a big boulder.
Big
Boulder.
boulder. Who's swinging for the fences now?
It's gonna be a big boulder in the challenge, right? Push it. You know
We
that
haven't had
seems
a
to be
big
a
boulder yet this season, right? Because there always seems to be one. Like it's either one person is inside. I mean, in recent seasons, it's a
yeah,
person is
yeah.
inside. Right.
So fine, not a big boulder. Well, fine, a big boulder slash spherical thing to be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Need to be pushed.
Yeah. So there's gonna be a big boulder or a spherical thing to be pushed.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So
I think we're
locked
good.
in all of our predictions.
Yep.
Let's move on to survivors of the week, starting with Castaway of the week. Who you got?
I'm gonna say Q.
Q. He got the win for them. With
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if Survivor's editing is to be believed, it's the first time he ever won anything.
Yep.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, he finally he finally got that moment.
Hmm. The feeling. This feeling that
Feeling
we've
of
never
winning.
had.
Yeah, is this what it feels like to win? That could have been well, it would have given it away. It would have given it away, but that would have been a great episode title. Is
Mm,
this what it feels like to win?
true. True. Yeah, well, yeah, you went with Q. I actually have the entire Yan. The
Yeah.
entire Yanu tribe. And just so I'm happy for them that they finally got an arrest from
Yeah.
me
First from
seeing,
Jeff.
yeah, from Jeff,
Yeah.
right?
uh,
And they have fire now.
Mm.
What about you, Marts?
well, for me, it would have been Q as well because he got the winning shot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He finally got that slow-mo win. No,
But
that
Yeah.
I could say Kenzie because she was the one that lit the fire, which means
that's good too.
she's got like fire making in her future if we're being like
Yeah.
if we're being edgy about it. But no,
Like
no.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
Q.
Q.
So we are in agreement that it is Q. All
Yeah.
right.
Goat of the week. Well, Mart's already said it's
Yeah.
Hunter's friend.
Hunter's
Thanks a lot,
friend.
Hunter's friend.
I'm gonna say Mariah.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
a
but
good
because
point.
she wasn't in on the vote.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
wasn't in on the vote, and she looked really disappointed that
Mm-hmm.
Jem was going home,
Mm-hmm.
which made us feel like,
Ooh,
yeah, which
very
made us feel like,
nice.
oh man, you've been played for a fool. You've been made a fool
Mm-hmm.
out of by
By
Jem,
Maria. Oh yeah, by Jem.
by
Also
Jem
by
because she
Jem.
voted. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's Tim because number one, he lost his best friend, Tiki Guy.
Oh.
Oh.
And number two, he still probably hasn't pooped yet because he didn't get the fruits. Right? The fruits would have
Yeah,
helped
the
him poop.
fruits.
Yeah. And number three, he technically lost for Siga after breezing through that obstacle course. Like he had like poop of fiery poop in his ass. Yeah, he was the last one. He didn't get the win for Siga. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, let us move on to purple of the week. What's your purple of the week?
Oh. Tiki Man's answer to Tim.
A good idol play.
A good idol play. Yeah, actually, for me, any payoff for Gem's strategy. I mean, nobody ever knew. No one found out that she played them, and she was
Yeah.
voted out with an idol in her pocket. That strategy was just so poor. Yeah,
I really couldn't understand what she
or
was thinking.
non-existent. It was non-existent. I think she was just in it
Yeah.
for laughs. She was in it for
Yeah.
laughs.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things you want to say, guys?
Nah, I'm good.
What you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about, Willis.
uh,
What are you guys talking about?
what are you guys about? Yeah, that montage. I really that I laughed. I laughed out loud in that montage. Anyway, that is it for tonight's episode. We would greatly appreciate it if you would hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parcon.
I am Thor. I'm still holding the
This is
hammer.
Martin. I guess.
All right. We do hope you get to see you on the council again soon. Until then, stay safe, mga kalaro. Titos.